What is up? Happy Monday, still fun day. Lauren Jabbar here with Alex Glaze. Alex, what a weekend
Lauren.
it was because you faded me on my Michigan pick and you won. So congratulations. Taking a bow for you. How was the weekend for you? How was Saturday? How was Sunday? How was Friday?
Saturday was great. Not gonna lie. I'm not sure. What do you think about these playoff games on New Year's Eve? Because
I am not a fan
I
because
was hanging out with
obviously
friends, but I was like the loser by the TV, like just watching the games. And like not even talking to anybody, especially because I also had the under in the Georgia Michigan game. So like even when it's like a blowout and people are coming up like, what are you watching for? I'm like, no. Under 45 and a
you
half
don't
points. There's
understand.
no. We need to see this through.
Oh my God. I know
So
coming down to like literally the last minute, last drive, like so intense, so
yeah,
intense.
yeah, but
But
your boy Cade McNamara came through for me. Appreciate that. And Kirby Smart.
hey,
Listen,
okay.
listen. Kids were watching. Sportsmanship is important. I'm glad that Kirby just nailed it out. Didn't need to kick the field goal. Just or not nailed out. He ran the play to get the first down.
Mhm.
Very, very good on Kirby to do that.
Yeah, I know. It was a difficult night for me. And honestly, I don't necessarily love the fact that it was on New Year's Eve because it
Yeah.
started off my 2022 on a really sour note. I know for a lot of
Well, no, no,
people,
no. That was the last. That was the last moment of 2021. So 2022,
that is
23.
true. But still, like, that negative feeling carried over to 2022, but it's okay. It is now the 3rd of January, so we've had a couple days to process. I had a really good day in the NFL yesterday, went 5 for 5 on my bets. The
Ooh.
Bengals, 2 bets, I bet their spread and money line. Both of those hit. Joe Burrow did what Joe Burrow does best. Proud of him. Smoking a stogie in the locker room after, dancing with his
See, that's a,
teammates.
see,
He's
we're always on the opposite side because I was on the Chiefs. I was on the Chiefs yesterday. Just for like, I'm looking at that line, and we'll talk about line movement a lot today as we talk about this Monday night game. But
Mhm.
the Bengals, they were getting 5 points, 5.5 points, I believe, at one point, and I got bet all the way down to 3.5, and I was like, you
Mhm.
know what? Still the Chiefs, right? And I was like, I'll take a bite at 3.5. I mean, because I'm not a big, I should say, wasn't a believer in the Bengals. Now I believe in the Bengals. I mean, I like Joe Burrow. I like Jamar Chase. So it was more like on their defense and just I wasn't sure they'd be able to keep up with the Chiefs. So I was really
Mhm.
impressed with what I saw from Jamar Chase. I mean, that dude is
Yes.
just unreal.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year. Rookie of the year. I think he wrapped it up yesterday, right?
All right, baby, let's go. Jamar Chase. You think?
I
You
think
think
so.
he is?
I
Very,
think he wrapped it
very
up
cool.
yesterday for sure.
Yeah, I know the Bengals made a lot of people believers yesterday. It was a really fun game to watch. After being down a couple scores, being able to come back and get that victory. We'll talk about that in our Monday morning therapy because I have them for my therapy. It's positive therapy to start off 2022, Alex.
Yeah,
Only
Jamar
positive.
Chase actually the favorite now over Mac Jones for offensive rookie of the year. I think that's the first time Mac has not been the favorite in a long time. He's
Yeah.
been the favorite pretty much all season.
Yeah, you heard it here first, baby. Alex Glaze breaking the news. Okay, we got a lot to talk about today on a beautiful Monday, still fun day show, as Jim Monis would say. College basketball predictions. There's a big game going on between Wisconsin, Purdue. We're going to break it down for you, give us our best bets for that game. Monday morning therapy, talking about the team that didn't necessarily play the way we wanted to or played better than we wanted to, and starting off Monday the right way. Ross Tucker, former NFL lineman, is coming on to talk a little bit about the college football playoff recap, what we're expecting from the college football championship game, and then also the Browns versus the Steelers Monday Night Football picks. Big
Mm.
Ben, last game at Heinz Field in front of his home crowd. So it's pretty exciting for him. Then we can't end without our best bets of the day and the Pickswise 3-star play of the day. So without further ado, Alex, let's get into it. Let's bet it. College basketball. There's quite a few games on the slate right now, but the one that I really want to narrow down on, Wisconsin, number 24 ranked in the entire country, taking on number 3 ranked Purdue. Purdue laying 12 and a half points in this game. Who do you like when you look at this game and why?
I don't know if I like a side. You know how I feel about college
Yeah.
basketball. You know how I feel about it.
You
I
don't like
haven't
young kids,
really
Alex.
I haven't really dug too deep into college basketball, but right
Yeah.
now I'm looking at that total at 140 and a half, I believe is what it's at right now. And I actually like that under.
Mm.
Just because I think this is going to be a game at Purdue as well. So, Purdue heavy favorites at home. That doesn't always bode well. No matter, well, you can pretty much throw out whatever you think you know about teams in college basketball. Like it just doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But I like the under in this game, just kind of as a lean for me. even though, Wisconsin's last couple games have gone over the total, those totals have been 137, 133 and a half. They actually had one against Ohio State go under when the total was 135. Indiana, their total is 130 and it went under. This is just a team that slows it down. Their offense
Yeah.
isn't great. Um, and I know Purdue, they're one of the best teams in the country, but I think Wisconsin has the guys on defense to slow them down, and I don't think they have enough offensively to take things over the total. So that's my lean for this game. I don't know if I'm going to play it yet, but I think 140 is just a little too high in that game.
Yeah, I'm also leaning. I haven't bet it yet, but I like Purdue laying 12.5 points in this game. And I know that's a lot of points
Trust in the
against a ranked
kids.
Wisconsin team, but you look at Wisconsin, 7-5 against the spread this season, Purdue 7-6. The Badgers have won 9 out of 10 non-conference games. They're 1-1 in the Big Ten this year until tonight, I think. Purdue is the team to beat in the Big Ten. The expectations were high heading into the season, all 5 starters returning. And they've met those expectations so far, besides losing to Rutgers back on December 9th. That was a crazy game, by the way. They've won 4 straight since then. So Purdue, when you look at some of their stats, they rank top 5 in the nation in offensive points scored, field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage. And on the other side, the Badgers, I think they're like 316th or 17th. They're only shooting 40% from the field and 299th overall in college basketball. Only 30% of their threes are dropping right now. I just don't think that they have the firepower to necessarily keep up with a team like Purdue. Purdue is also 7-1-1 in the last 9 head-to-head games against Wisconsin. So I just have to take Purdue in this game, who might be the best team in the nation in this one. Like, I really, really like Purdue. And I actually might place a
Didn't
future.
they lose at Rutgers?
What?
Didn't they lose at Rutgers?
But like barely. Like it was like a
You can't.
last
No.
buzzer
Listen,
beater. Like,
you can't be the best team in the country and lose at Rutgers.
okay.
I don't look.
They've
I
won
don't have a
4
vote in
straight
how the
since then.
rankings work,
I
but
think
that's just
here's the thing. If you could have a statement win against a team like Wisconsin that's ranked 24th at home in front of a home crowd, like if you could have a statement win, cover the spread by 13 points or more, I mean, that like first of all, they are back on track, but that Rutgers game was just a little fluky. It was a little fluky. It wasn't, what anyone was expecting. People were expecting a good game though for that, but it came down to the wire. It wasn't like Rutgers blew them out by any means, but yeah, I mean, I
a buzzer
agree.
beater.
Here's the thing, it was the start of the season, like, it was the beginning of the season. Teams are still getting their lungs underneath them, they're
Fair.
still getting their legs, they're still building their chemistry, and since then, they've won 4 games. So, I think that you really need to judge a team January, February, heading into March Madness, because that's when, like, the first, like, month or 2 of a season is when teams are kind of finding their legs, getting their
Figuring out
chemistry
chemistry.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once you get into January, February, like, similar to the NBA, getting into January, February, your conditioning is good. You're finding a little bit of that chemistry, and that's the time when you really start playing and making a mark in the league, and making your push, I guess, to become more of a favorite. So I like Purdue in this spot. I haven't bet it yet, but laying 12.5, that is definitely my lean for this game. Okay, Monday morning therapy, because for me it's good. For you, I don't know. So this is a time when we talk about the team that's, caused us the most angst this weekend, absolutely driving us crazy. But this week for my Monday morning therapy, I'm changing it into a happy, grab a cup of coffee Monday morning therapy kind of a thing. I'll let you go first. Raiders, your team, right?
Yeah, the Raiders, they cost me my teaser yesterday. The Colts were one leg on there. I couldn't trust them. Um, I couldn't trust them to cover. I believe it was 8 when I put it in, but I liked them, laying 2 points in my teaser.
Yeah.
I was feeling good. And then the Raiders just showed up. I'm not sure who are the Raiders. What are
No
they
one.
about? I mean, listen, who is Derek Carr? I mean, I feel like we see 4 different versions of Derek Carr in 4 weeks. I mean, I don't know who he is. Like, the one guy I know that is a dude. I mean, look, we're talking. There's so many good receivers in the league now. Hunter Renfrow, dude.
Mhm.
Really
Dude.
like him, but even though he killed me yesterday, he's a dude.
Yeah.
He's special. But the Raiders, just I can't figure this team out. Every time I bet against them, they do well. Every time I want to back them, they just lay an egg. So I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about this
Is that
Raiders
a red
team.
flag or a deal breaker, Alex, for you?
Definitely a red flag, but it's a red flag. The mystery is one that I just tend to ignore. It's one of those red flags that I just look past. But oh, we're talking football. But uh, no, but I'm glad that their game got flexed to prime time with the Chargers because that's going to be for the division now, right? I believe that the winner of that game is going to win the division. That's going to be a really good game because the Chargers are another team. You just don't know what you're going to get week to week from them. So the Raiders, confusing.
Yeah. Red flag, but not a deal breaker. Alex is going to choose to ignore the red flags and continue to bet them. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, for me, let's grab a cup of coffee, take a sip. This is a
You're coming to
long
therapy. You're
straw.
coming to
What's the
therapy.
longest straw is? I couldn't find a shorter straw.
You're coming to therapy happy today.
It's happy therapy. We're starting the week off on a good note. The Bengals, I love them. Joe Burrow, I love him. I love him. Jamar Chase, love him. Absolutely love him. They showed that they are ready to be considered a true powerhouse in the AFC. Offensively, you saw what they were able to do. They lit up the scoreboard, never seemed out of the game, even when Kansas City was up 2 scores early. Jamar Chase likely locked up the O'Roy this year. He looked so good. And for Alex, it's the first time that he is the favorite for O'Roy since week 11, according to
Yeah.
PointsBet odds. He also had he had 3 touchdowns to his name, 30-yard reception on the game-winning drive. I think it was like 3rd and 27 or 3rd and 28, a situation like that. Defensively, they were able to make adjustments in the second half. They gave up just 3 points. And because of that, they had the opportunity to come back and win the game. I think, still protecting Joe Burrow for me continues to be a little bit of an issue for the team, but the offense can scare any team in the postseason, like literally any team. I had the Bengals plus 4.5 and the Bengals money line. It was a good day for Bengals bettors overall. And then you have Joe Burrow just smoking the stogie, dancing in the
I
locker
mean,
room.
I love
AFC
Burrow
North.
swag. I hate that he's in the AFC North because I'm a Ravens fan. I hate that Jamar
Yeah,
Chase
sorry.
is in the AFC North, but I want to like them so bad. I think I
I
do like.
I
I
love
think I
Joe
do
Burrow.
like them.
Like I'm a true
Jamar Chase actually minus 220 for offensive rookie of the year, so he locked that up.
Oh,
We got a comment in the chat though,
let's hear
and
it.
I'm only reading this because I'm an objective host, and I'm just just reading what the people are writing here.
Okay.
The Chiefs killed themselves. This is from Sam. Chiefs killed themselves. Wanted to keep playing man to man on Chase. I mean, that's what it was. They played a lot of man to man, and Jamar Chase. You don't.
Mhm.
He's one of those dudes. You just can't. There's not too many men that can cover Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Football is a game of schemes, right? Like, yeah, it's a game of players, but it's also a game of schemes. If teams are able to adjust and adapt, which is what the Bengals did in the second half, they only allowed 3 points to the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, that's how you're going to win a game, right? And I think it's going to be very similar today for the Steelers taking on the Browns, which we'll get into in a little bit. Do we have any other viewer questions right now? I don't have the chat pulled up now.
Ooh, let me pull up a question here. We're gonna get a lot of questions about Monday night game. We're gonna get that. It's Browns
Yeah, we'll
Steelers
get there,
Monday
guys.
night.
We'll get there.
All
Hold
right, we got another
horses,
comment from
okay?
Sam here that I like. Cowboys. I'm not gonna say what he. Cowboys continue to play scared in big games. That was a weird game, but it's
That was
also all right.
weird.
There were a couple games that were like red flag, red flag, red flag for me
Okay.
yesterday. The Ravens Rams game, right?
Yep.
That in the morning was 6. The Rams were favored by 6 points, and I'm
Mhm.
texting my friends like, "Well, why are the Rams only favored by 6 points?" The Ravens, for those of you who don't pay attention to the Ravens like I do, everybody on that defense is hurt. Everybody. Their
Yeah.
secondary, I think they're down to like their fourth. They have no corners, no defensive backs. Going against the Rams, Lamar Jackson's out, and
Mhm.
it's just like, why is this only 6 points? It's one of those lines that just stunk. I didn't play it, but I saw that Jim Monos on the show
Uh-huh.
yesterday gave out Ravens. He was loving
He
it,
did.
and he cashed it. That one stunk to me, and the Cardinals Cowboys game that also stunk. But then the thing that I've kind of learned with the NFL this year is you kind of have to forget what you see on a week to week basis, right? Like
Mhm.
go into this week. The last time we saw the Cowboys, they probably played their best, most complete game ever, right? Like they smoked the Washington football team in
Yeah.
all phases of the game. And then we see the Cardinals, and last time we saw them, I believe, was when they laid an egg against the Colts, right?
Yep.
They look like the most
And
undisciplined
then the
team
week
in
before
football.
that, laid an egg against the Lions.
They just haven't looked good the past
Yeah.
couple weeks, right? Like, after, D-Hop went out, it just looked like that offense couldn't
Yeah.
do anything. So, for that to only be 6.5, like, you're just like, "Hmm, that doesn't seem right."
Yeah.
And, of course, both of those, the other way, Vegas knows. Vegas
And
knows.
here's the thing, it's like when you look at the Cowboys play, what was it about that game? They're playing at home. They have all the players. Like, they're going up against a team that has been kinda hot and cold this season. Like, we don't really know what to expect week to week. Like, what did the Cowboys like, how did the Cowboys not win that game, in my
I
opinion?
think maybe the Cardinals are a good team, right? So I think there's that. I think people forgot over the past couple weeks that the Cardinals were,
Yeah.
I mean, a pick that I had at the beginning of the season to win the division and make a serious run at a Super Bowl. Like, I thought this team was legit.
Yeah, and
But
Jared
also,
still has a future on them too.
yeah, that Cowboys team though, maybe a little bit of fool's gold. I don't know. I mean, their offense has the ability to, kick it into a gear that very few teams have the ability to kick it into, but that defense
Mhm.
maybe a little overrated. Trayvon
Yeah.
Diggs, love him, has a lot of interceptions, but a bit of a gambler in coverage. So maybe that defense isn't as good as we think. I don't know. They
Yeah.
forced a lot of turnovers though.
I know. Okay, speaking of gambling, let's bring in Ross Tucker, former NFL lineman. He's going to talk some college football playoffs with us because we want to recap the weekend. Obviously, we have a big game coming up on the 10th of January, and then also talk a little bit about Monday Night Football tonight. Ross, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Lauren. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. We love it. Okay, let's get right into it. New Year's Eve. How did you feel about both of those games? Because I was expecting at least one of them to be a decent game, and we really didn't get much competition at all on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys brought me back on the show because last week I was saying I thought both of the games would be competitive. And
I thought so
that,
too. Hey, I went to Michigan, so you know what? It was heart wrenching for me. I know, like when
well,
we
listen,
finally got
I
the
didn't
first field goals, like points, let's go. Like we got points. Like it's brutal.
I didn't go to any of those schools, and it was heart wrenching for me because I'd had a bunch of beers and I just wanted competitive games. And I told everybody that the games were going to be competitive, and unfortunately, that's not what happened. You know, the thing that surprises me, in all sincerity, I'm really surprised by your alma mater, Lauren. I mean, I really thought that had the potential to be a competitive game. I thought Cincinnati showed they belong more than Michigan did. I mean,
Yeah,
Cincinnati, if they score a touchdown on that first drive, if Pierce actually catches it, I think it's probably a little bit of a different game. I don't know why they didn't run Desmond Ritter, their quarterback, more. That's what he's good at. He's a good dual threat quarterback. Run him. It's the college football semifinals. They had Ritter just stand back there and be a throwing quarterback, and he didn't play well enough. But even them, Cincinnati
Cincy's
had like
defense
a
was
third and
impressive though. I
nine.
was impressed by their defense.
Yeah, their defense. They have but even their defense, they'd have a third and 9 or third and 14, and they'd still give it up to Alabama. So anyway, look, Alabama was clearly better, but Cincinnati had their opportunities to
hmm
stay in that game, and I think cover the 13 and a half points like I thought they were going to.
yeah,
What really surprised me was Michigan and Georgia. Now I knew Georgia had some dudes, but any guy they bring on that has a 90 anything on their jersey is just an absolute monster. I mean,
monster.
Georgia's got backups. I would honestly like to see if we could do college football season over again, okay? I would like to see how highly ranked Georgia and Alabama's second strings would be. Like, what would their record be if their second string played the whole time? I was very disappointed by Michigan. I thought Michigan up front, their O line and D line gave them a chance.
Yeah,
They got beat up front. I
yeah.
mean, the thing I thought would give them a chance to win the game
That
is what I
exactly.
thought let them down as much as anything else. Plus,
Yeah,
Bennett played like the game of his life, too.
I don't want to pile on. I don't want to pile on Michigan. Yes, I do. But I did. I was on
I'm just gonna head
Georgia.
out.
I was on Georgia in the morning. I placed the bet on Saturday morning, or
Mhm.
was it Friday morning? Friday morning. Got my days mixed up with all this football happening. Um, I wasn't feeling great. I was just like, the whole world's on Michigan. Something's up. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, all anyone's been talking about for a month is how good Michigan is. And all Georgia's been hearing for a month is how they're overrated. Their defense isn't this. And I was just thinking about what Saban said going into the SEC championship game and how, rat poison usually is bad, but it was good. I'm just like, maybe, and Kirby Smart coming from the Saban tree, I was like, I could see them kind of using that. And the moment I knew that bet was going to get home was when Michigan got off the bus and I see Cade McNamara in the sunglasses. I see the Michigan O lineman in the sunglasses with the run the damn ball shirts. And I'm like, oh, these dudes, they think they think they're sweet. And then Georgia, you got Jordan Davis coming out here. Georgia's just business trip. They've been here before. So as soon as I saw him come off the bus with the sunglasses, I knew that was good. I knew what that game was going to be. So, Lauren, you got to defend your dudes. I know it's sunny in Florida, in South Florida, but come on, getting off the bus.
Honestly, I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. Like, I was truly sitting there on New Year's Eve and everyone is having a good time, and I'm in the corner like this, just like sitting there like a little pouty. I honestly thought this game would be so much more competitive than it was. The number 1, number 2 defenses in the country, one of the best O lines, one of the best D lines in the country. Like, they crap the bed. And that's all I can say about that. So you know what? We're moving on to next year, and we're also moving on to next week because we do have a national championship game that Alabama, Georgia are playing for. It's going to be a rematch of the SEC championship. Ross, when you look at that one, Georgia laying 3, what side are you kind of leaning towards, or have you bet it yet?
Yeah, this is tough for me because my initial reaction, I said before the college football playoff started that I thought it would be Georgia and Alabama, and I thought Georgia would win and that they would finally get their revenge and get the monkey off their back. But to be honest with you, I thought they'd be the underdog. I'm a little surprised that Georgia is favored in this game. I wasn't really expecting them after what happened in the SEC championship game. I wasn't expecting Georgia to be favored in this one. Maybe part of that is John Mechie being out for this one, or just how these teams looked on Friday night in the college football playoff. I think Georgia's the better team.
Yeah.
I also think they have like a mental block when it comes to Alabama. So I'm still going to stick with my original, which is that Georgia wins it. I just don't love that they're laying the points. It makes me nervous. I have to write a column with my pick for college, for Pickswise, and I'm kind of going back and forth on it. I think I'm going to end up taking Bama and the points because of the psychological advantage, and I'll take 3 points. I'm hoping it's a competitive game, but I'm trying to, I guess, thread the needle there with thinking Georgia's going to win, but Bama might cover.
Yeah. This is one of those things that maybe Georgia sees Nick Saban and they just like are shell shocked and just, like deer in headlights kind of a vibe. That's what it looks like every time they play. Alex, are you leaning towards Georgia too?
I am leaning all the way into Georgia.
So you're
leaning all the way into Georgia. I'm actually going to, as soon as this is over, go to Maryland Live and place my bet for Georgia -3 because I think that is a great number to get them at. I'm going to lay those 3 points because I think that Vegas, once again, is trying to get you to take the points with Saban, right? That's what everyone was saying going to the SEC championship game. When do you ever get the opportunity to take points with Alabama? And sure enough, that was the winning side. This is a different spot though for Bama. I think they're too banged up. Mechie's out. Jamison Williams, he got banged up in the game against Cincinnati. So they don't really, they're down some receivers, right? And I think that if you watch that Cincy Bama game, that offensive line didn't do a great job protecting. Ross, you tell me if I maybe was watching it wrong. You watch with a much keener eye than I do. I didn't think they did a good job protecting. Oh my gosh, drawing a blank on his
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. How could I forget the Bryce Young? They didn't do a great job protecting him. And I think if you go back to the SEC championship game, how can I draw a blank on Bryce Young's name? Too many names, too many teams, too much going on right now. Too early in the morning. But anyway, I didn't think they did a great job protecting him. And I think what you saw in the SEC championship game is if you let Bryce Young sit back there and pick you apart, that's exactly what he's going to do. So I think this Georgia defensive line, they're going to be up for this game. They're going to be motivated. The whole defense, after getting embarrassed in the SEC championship game, they're going to be ready to go. And Stetson Bennett, for all the crap he gets from, the outside for people thinking that he should, get benched, JT Daniels is the guy. He balled out against Michigan. So he's the guy you got to ride. I believe in this Michigan. Sorry, season's over for Michigan. I believe in this Georgia defense. This Georgia
Okay, we just got to
team.
rub that in. Thank you.
And I love laying the 3 points in this spot.
Yeah, I know. So we'll see. I mean, we still got, what is it, Monday? It's next Monday. We got 7 days.
But that number, I'm interested to see how that number moves, though, because I think a lot of money is going to come in on Bama, right, Ross? Like, people are going to come in and think that they are going to get 3 points with Bama again, and they're going to take that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm probably going to. So if I'm any indicator, then yeah, I think they probably are. I got to be honest with you. I mean, we don't talk about it a lot here. I want Georgia to win the game. I think I think I'd be happy for their fans.
Yeah.
I'd be so happy for Stetson Bennett, having to look over his shoulder the whole time. Nobody wants him out there. But money talks, and I think I'll take Bama in the point. So you and I might be going head to head on that one, Alex.
I will say, it was making me sick to my stomach when I was watching the trophy ceremony at the end of that Michigan-Georgia game, and Stetson Bennett's like winking at the camera and like Kobeing oranges out to the crowd. I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, just stop. Like,
Orange Bowl.
What? Like, I get it.
Hold on. Lauren, I'll let you make your point. One thing I also love, Ross, listen, you played. There's something about Kirby not taking the Gatorade bath. Unfinished business. He doesn't care about winning the Orange Bowl. He wants that Gatorade bath in Indy. I think that tells me everything I need to know about the mindset of this Georgia team. They're focused.
Yeah.
Man, I hope so. They've got that. They've got like a mental block when it comes to Alabama. I was at that SEC championship game on the sideline. I guess that was 3 years ago when they were up the whole game and Tua was limping around. They bring in Jalen Hurts. I mean, the Georgia fans looked like they saw a ghost after that. They could not believe they lost that game to that team again.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting. That game next Monday. We do have a game tonight. It's the Browns taking on the Steelers at Heinz Field. And before we get into it, just a quick note about yesterday. Home dogs 4-0 against the spread yesterday. Home favorites 8-2-1 against the spread yesterday. So a little interesting note there. But this game, AFC North hostilities renewed at Heinz Field Monday night. And looking at the spread this morning, the line flipped within like the last hour or so. The Browns were laying 3.5. The Browns are now getting 2.5 points. Steelers laying 2.5 in this one. So flipped overnight, probably because Cleveland was eliminated from the postseason after the Chargers won on Sunday. Ross, what are you expecting when you look at this game going into tonight?
Yeah, I think that is a big reason why the line moved. I got, every Tuesday I do a show, the Even Money podcast. Mm-hmm. I got the Steelers getting 3.5 last Tuesday. I never understood this. This was always going to be Ben Roethlisberger's last home game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That place is going to be bananas. I mean, if you're a 24-year-old kid from Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger has been your quarterback your whole life since you were 7. Since the first time you remember going to a game or watching him with your dad when you were 7, Ben's been the quarterback. I think they're going to rise to the occasion, play one of their best games of the year. I don't have a lot of faith in Baker Mayfield. He hasn't shown any reason to have it this year. And the Steelers are still kind of alive. The Browns are done. I love the Steelers in this game. I would still lay the 2.5, but I'm getting 3.5. So if you listened to me last week, you got 6 points of closing line value there.
Yeah, so you're saying you would still lay the 2.5 in a game like this with the Steelers?
Yeah, I think the Steelers are going to win the game. Yeah, mm-hmm. I think the Steelers are going to win the game by a field goal or more. I'm glad I got the 3.5 last. That's about as much of a line move as you'll ever see without like the starting quarterback getting hurt or going on nobody's in or out different. It's just the circumstances have changed that much.
Yeah, that's what we were looking at this morning. It was like 9:30. I'm like, holy crap, the line flipped a lot in the last 30 minutes. And I'm like, is someone out? What's going on? Alex, when you're looking at this game, are you on the Browns?
Absolutely not. I'm not on the Browns, but I'm not bold enough to be laying points with the Steelers either. I playing this one safe. Steelers money line. I think the Steelers win this game. But you're not going to catch me laying points with that offense. Have you watched the Steelers this year? That offense, no chance. No chance am I going to be laying points. But I loved, when I saw Ross had the 3.5. That's a good spot because what does Mike Tomlin do when he's a home dog? He just does nothing but cover. So this was going to be an ugly game regardless. The AFC North, they don't do anything but win ugly games in that division. But laying points with the Steelers would not advise that. Would not advise that. If you want to enjoy your evening, just take the Steelers money line, watch Big Ben play his last home game, get in the field a little bit, and then he's going to get smacked by the Ravens next week.
Here's the thing. I'm on the Browns money line now at plus 128. I like the Browns.
Gosh, of course you are. Of course
I like the Browns laying 3.5. And now that I'm getting their money line at plus money, I'm like, okay, I mean, this is a no-brainer. I don't even have to think about this one. Yeah, they're eliminated from the postseason, but in heading into week 17, they were decimated the last couple of weeks by COVID and everything. They look much healthier. Divisional showdown. The Steelers have a 7-7-1 record. They do need to win to make the playoffs, but they've dropped 4 of the last 6, including an absolute ass whooping last week to the Kansas City Chiefs. And you look at, week 8, the last time that these two teams played each other. Steelers edged the Browns out. I think it was like 15-10, 15 to whatever. But I think it's going to be tougher this week for them to come away with a victory. I mean, for me, I am not a Ben Roethlisberger fan at all, especially this season. He looks every bit of 39 years old, nowhere near the passer that he was in his prime. And I just think the injuries have taken their toll on him. I mean, he ranks 27th right now in the league in average yards per pass attempt. I think it's like 6 this season. And he's thrown for fewer than 160 yards in each of his last 2 games. So I don't know. I know that the Browns are vulnerable in the secondary, but I just don't think Big Ben is good enough to be able to exploit that right now. So I think especially with the Browns pass rush, which is going to pressure him into quick throws and check downs, I just think they're going to rip through a Steelers offensive line that just isn't very good. And I think that the Browns are going to be able to edge them out. I liked him laying 3.5. I like the Browns money line even better at plus money. So yeah,
we have a comment in the chat that I want to bring up to you guys real quick.
Please.
Comment in the chat coming from my guy Brent. Big Ben 300 plus pass yards tonight. Do you guys like that? Right now I'm looking at FanDuel, an alt passing yards line. Big Ben 300 plus yards is plus 320. I don't think Big Ben has it plus 320. I don't know if Big Ben's got it in him for 300 plus, but it is his last game. He's gonna. I mean, listen, if he's gonna throw his arm out, it's gonna be in this game, right? Like plus 320.
Ross, what do you guys think?
No, I'm not. I don't think he's gonna get 300 yards.
There's a reason why it's plus 320.
No, I mean, I think they win. I think they win like 17-14, 20-7. I mean, I think it's a lower scoring game that the Steelers kind of grind out. I don't think it's a shootout. I don't think Ben throws for over 300 yards.
Yeah. I mean, I will tell you a Big Ben prop that I do have. Big Ben over a half interception in this game. I think that he's going to throw an interception in Heinz Field. I mean, he's made a storied career out of taking abuse inside, outside of the pocket. But I'm just saying, like, his injury from 2019, it started to show the last couple of years. Can he dig deep for one dynamic outing or no? I think that he's going to be decent. I don't think he's going to be great. He has limited his interceptions this season, but it's because he hasn't taken very many deep shots. I mean, the turnovers have still shown up, even though he hasn't. And there have been 2 against the Browns. And then I want to look back to week 8. He was clean, no picks. But you take it back to their playoff meeting last year, 4 picks in that game. Then he threw 4 picks in 2 games in 2018 too. So he could wrap it up with a big Monday night game tonight. But I am counting on at least 1 interception for Big Ben at Heinz Field in front of his home crowd. That is the Big Ben prop that I would take for tonight, over a half interception. You feel good about it, Ross? No? Yes?
Yeah, he'll probably throw a pick. I feel better about that one than the over 300 yards. That's for sure. I think there's more of a chance of an interception than him throwing for over 300 yards. If he throws for over 300 yards, Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson took some slants or shallow crosses a long way.
Oh man, I know. Maybe I'll sprinkle it on there just because that plus money is a little enticing, but I just don't think that that's going to hit. Ross, final thoughts for you. before we let you go about heading into tonight, or maybe just like surprises that you've seen this season in the NFL after watching through now, I guess 17 weeks. It's crazy we're already at week 17.
Yeah, I guess my surprise slash maybe disappointment is that it feels like a lot has already been decided. We're going
Yeah.
into week 18 here for the first time ever, and there's not a lot up for grabs. I mean, a lot of the divisions, I think 6 of the 8 divisions have been decided. Even the Eagles, I mean, I live outside of Philadelphia. I do a lot of work there. I do their Eagles preseason and their pregame. The whole talk this week will be, should the Eagles rest their starters against the Cowboys Saturday night? Because they already clinched the playoffs. Like, if you would have told me 2 weeks ago when the Eagles were 6-7 or whatever, or 3 weeks ago, I guess, that we'd be talking about them resting players for the playoffs, it's a wild year.
It is. It is a really crazy year. Ross Tucker, former NFL lineman, catch him on the Pickswise playbook as well. Thanks so much for coming on, and good luck to your Eagles now heading into the postseason.
Yeah, listen, every time they win, I get another pregame show. So those guys don't even realize they're playing for my money every week. So that's the key. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks so much, Ross. Appreciate it. Ross Tucker, gotta love him. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about this Monday Night Football game because I have one more prop that I really like. Are you on any props first of all before I say my other one?
I wanted to look at some Nick Chubb props because the Steelers have been pretty bad against the run this year, but I'm not seeing any Browns running backs props yet. So I'm going to keep an eye out.
Well, that could be another thing because they're not necessarily going to the postseason. So, like, are they going to play everybody? That could have been another reason why the line flipped a little bit.
I understand not going to the postseason. I don't know. I'm interested because, a lot of this is, we're getting into the last couple weeks here. There's incentives on the lines for these players, whether it's yards, touchdowns, touches, carries, whatever, receptions. So I'm interested to kind of see how that plays out. So maybe that's why this line has been moving because we don't know who's going to be in or out for the Browns. Yeah. But I'm going to be looking for those Nick Chubb props if they ever come out.
It's going to be interesting, like going throughout this day and seeing how much more the line moves, seeing who's going to be in the starting lineup, seeing all of that stuff. The other one I like, Donovan Peoples-Jones, a Michigan man. Let's go over 33.5 receiving yards. It's been a wild ride for him this season. You look at the first 4 weeks of the season, I think he only had like 4 targets. He caught all 4 of them. With OBJ on the roster, they were still trying to get Odell Beckham Jr. going, right? Week 5. Donovan Peoples-Jones caught 5 of 6 targets, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 101 yards the week after that. He also scored in week 7. Then he missed a couple of weeks, including the first matchup in week 8 against the Steelers. Big week in week 9, then another dip for a couple weeks. Then a red-hot 2-week stretch, 15 targets, 9 catches, 138 yards. Then he had an absolute dud of a game last week against the Green Bay Packers. So it's like he's not been very consistent this season. Even if this week is a dud, though, for him, 35.5 just seems low to me. He has the ability to haul in big passes and make that number somewhat attainable. The Steelers. I just said the Steelers. Sorry. The Steelers usually give up that number to secondary receivers anyways for a majority of the season. So I just feel like this is a realistic Monday night goal over 33.5 receiving yards for DPJ heading into tonight. So I put a full unit on that one. I really like that bet. And then the other prop, obviously the Big Ben over a half interception. I have a good feeling about that one too. Let me know what you think.
I like it. I like it. I think maybe this is, your heart going with the Michigan man again. But I actually do think Donovan Peoples-Jones has come along quite nicely. It's just a matter of who's going to be playing quarterback for the Browns because, like we've been saying, are the Browns, now that they're eliminated, are they going to play Baker, who's been banged up this year? Do they sit him and kind of protect their investment,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I guess he hasn't signed, so is he really their investment? That's another discussion. But you know what I mean? Like, does Baker play tonight? Do we see those big name featured guys play? I don't know. But right now, 33.5, that seems low. So I like that. It seems
really low. Yeah, I locked it in last night. Lock it in today. 33.5 seems low. I know. Go blue, baby, because they didn't get things going
on season in Ann Arbor. Hockey season.
Yeah, seriously, Yost Ice Arena is going to be rocking. Okay, let's head to back to the court, but not the kids this time. The men, NBA.
Hmm.
There's 10 games on the slate tonight. For me, I'm not on it. I'm not on any games tonight. You are. You like Ja Morant and the
Whoa,
Memphis
whoa.
Grizzlies.
I'm not on it. I'm not on it just yet.
You're
I'm
leaning,
leaning. I'm
leaning that
leaning this way because it is 10:41 in the morning. And as we've seen over the past couple weeks, between 10:40 and 6:40,
Yeah.
things change
Even
drastically.
between 5:30 and 7 PM, like there was
Yeah.
the other day when Trae Young was still in COVID protocols, we still didn't know at 5:45 PM for a 7 PM game that he was going to be in the lineup. Then all of a sudden, a tweet comes out at 5:57 from Woj, Trae Young cleared protocols, and right after that, see him walk into the
And then you
locker
just see
room.
him walking out the tunnel. Like after you see
Yeah,
the tweet, you're like, wait.
seriously, like 90 minutes before the game started. So things can change by the second, especially with all the COVID issues going on right now in the league. But Grizzlies, tell me why.
Yeah. I like the Grizzlies are catching seven points right now, going against the Nets tonight. Listen, the Nets, they've been struggling the past couple games. I think they lost back-to-back games. Now the number 2 team in the East behind the Bulls.
Mhm.
Really interesting. DeMar DeRozan doing good things for the Bulls, winning, at the
Yeah,
buzzer.
and Levine and Vucevic.
I mean, yeah, Levine's been
That's
playing, but I'm talking
pretty
about
good.
DeMar specifically at the buzzer, winning
Oh, yeah.
2 straight games for them was impressive this weekend.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like the Grizzlies. They're coming along nicely. I think this is they're going for their 5th straight win. They're shooting 45% from the floor. Ranked 17th in the league in threes, catching points. I just think this is a good spot for them. They're really good against the spread, and the Nets they're just not. I'm trying to pull up the numbers right now so I can look at this. In 8 of their last 9 road games, Memphis has covered. The Nets have only covered in 1 of their last 10 games. So 7
Wow.
points. 7 points is a lot in the NBA. So I don't think that the Nets are 7 points better than what I think is a really good Grizzlies team. A lot of offense, a lot of good shooters on that Grizzlies team.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I agree. Seeing him play in person this season and John Morant is just
Unbelievable.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's unbelievable. So yeah, that actually is a good bet. You might have convinced me. I'm leaning that way now too. Let's head into our best bets of the day. Well, first of all, the Pickswise 3-star play of the day. Who do we got?
Yes. If you head over to the Pickswise website, you will see a 3-star play of the day by our friend Yermontis
Good luck.
Kneta,
Yeah.
I
Look at
believe. I'm
you.
sorry if I mispronounced your name. But yeah, he's got the Wizards laying 2 points tonight against the Hornets. It's his best bet, a 3-star play on the website. So gotta head over to the Pickswise website if you want to read the reasoning for that one. But the
I
Wizards
like
laying
it.
2 points.
And your best bet of the day, Kansas State.
I'm going to
Late-
the Texas Bowl. Listen, we've been talking bowl games for the past 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride or 3 weeks. It's been a wild ride for a bowl season for me. So listen, I'm sticking with the bowl theme, and I'm going to lay now 4.5 points with Kansas State tonight. I wanted to go with the under in this game. This is going to be a
You
defensive
love
game.
your unders.
I do, and I love my unders, but the unders have not been hitting in bowl games. Like the under is not the play. So I got scared off that, but I just think that when you look at this matchup tonight with LSU, there's so much uncertainty with LSU right now. Brian Kelly's not going to be coaching this game, so they're not going to have Ed Orgeron on the sidelines. It's going to be a new guy calling the shots, right? Their quarterback not going to be there, so it's going to be a lot of new guys in key positions that maybe don't have the experience. Meanwhile, Kansas State, just a veteran team. They're going to be up for the Texas Bowl. I just like laying the 4.5 points in this spot. It was 3.5, but I had to swallow the point because I got to the line late. So that's what I got to do.
You hate to see it, Alex. I'm
I
sorry.
hate swallowing the point, but in college football, I've found that point not necessarily as valuable as it is in like the NFL.
Yeah.
But still, for me, I think what sealed it for me was when I saw Max Johnson, LSU's quarterback, who entered the transfer portal, wasn't going to be sticking around for this game. So once I saw he was out, I was out on LSU.
Kansas State laying 4 and a hook for you. For me, I'm going back to the Monday Night Football game at Heinz Field. I just love the Browns money line with plus money in this spot, plus 128. I gave a reasoning a little bit before. I will add on. I just think Pittsburgh's going to have trouble containing Cleveland in their attack. They rank second in the league in offensive rush DVOA. I think they're earning like close to 100.
Wait a minute. Time out. The Kansas State game's tomorrow. The Texas Bowl's tomorrow. We got a comment in the chat. I had the wrong date in my spreadsheet. Thank you, Josh.
Honestly, it's one of those things where I don't even know what day of the week it is.
I don't know what day it is anymore. There's so many games. There's football. I just don't know what day it is.
The only reason I knew what day today is because Monday Night Football is on today. That's literally.
I'm sorry for our producers who are gonna have to edit this, but pivot my play of the day now. Steelers money line. How about that?
No,
Steelers. We're going head to head in the play. We're going head to head and play the days now.
Okay.
So I'm going Steelers money line. Big Ben's last game. He's not going to lose at Heinz Field. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The Steelers were catching 3.5 points. Now this line is flipped. I would stay away from the spread. I just don't see a way that the Browns, who have nothing to play for in this game, they show up. I don't think they show up.
The Steelers season. That's something to play for.
Listen, the Browns aren't good enough. The Browns aren't good enough to show up and ruin anyone's season. That defense is not what we thought it would be at the beginning of the year. I think it's going to be an ugly game, but Mike Tomlin wins ugly games.
That is a true statement. Even if the defense isn't necessarily as good as what we all thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. Ben Roethlisberger, it looks every bit of his age. He's not good. He hasn't been good all season. I mean, here's the thing. It's again, like the Browns pass rush is going to pressure him, and he's not going to be able to do anything. I just don't think that the Steelers are. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. But getting the Browns, who have a chance to ruin the Steelers postseason, whatever.
Well, the Steelers. I mean, they need. I think the Steelers.
They need to win out, and then they need a lot of other things to happen.
I think they need the Jaguars to win next week as well. I think.
So they're still, if they lose, they're out. So the Browns have that ability to be able to do that. And then you also look at Cleveland's attack. They rank second in the league in offensive rush DVOA, earning about 150 rush yards per game on the ground. I mean, the Steelers are 30th in the league in defensive rush DVOA. They allow a league high 143 rushing yards per game. I think that the Browns offense is going to be able to take care of the ball, take care of business. And I think that their defense is going to do what they need to do to be able to get it done. Do I think their defense is going to be phenomenal? No. But do I think Big Ben's phenomenal? No. Yeah, there is extra motivation than playing in front of a home crowd. Last game for Big Ben at Heinz Field. But I think this game's going to be really close. I think it's going to come down to the wire. And I think the Browns are just going to have that little extra edge. We'll see. We're fading each other on our best bets of the day.
What's new?
30 p.m. Eastern time tonight.
What's new? That's what we do.
That is what we do. That's what we do best. But that is it for us today. Find us on the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to pickswise.com. Follow us on Twitter. Alex Glaze. I'm Lauren Jabbar. Best of luck tonight. We'll know about 11:30 p.m. who comes out on top with his best bet of the day. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Let's get it. Let's bet it.
Is that a dab?